We didn't know that he had dyslexia, and we just found that he didn't pick up the reading as quickly. He kind of got to age 7, year 3, and then he didn't really progress and was stuck. But the one thing that I did read was that the earlier you can access support, the greater impact you can make and the greater difference you can make. So I was quite keen, as soon as we found out, that we give him any support that he needs. I see Noah's dyslexia actually as a gift, because I have 3 boys, and each of them have their own skills. Each of them are good at different things. So it's actually not a negative. Noah seems to particularly flourish in maths. So it's finding what do they enjoy, what do they want to do, and encouraging that, but making sure that they also have the basic foundations in maths and English, because obviously they will always need that. Don't think anything is insurmountable. I think that it's just about finding a different way to do it, finding a way that works for them, and having a bit of patience.
I find it quite hard to reading some words and writing them down and getting mixed up with my simple words. I can think of loads of ideas and quickly jot them down, but it's kind of hard to read it. So I try to think of them, save them to my mum or dad, and they write it down for me.
I think you've got to find what works for them. Every child's different, and it's about finding how they learn best and what works. Noah tends to like a lot of mnemonics, a lot of finding patterns in words in words, to help with spellings. And you just have to go with whatever they like.
I think it is very much, you see both sides of things. You see that the teachers are doing their absolute best. They're totally working at capacity, but hand on heart, I did not know how to help my children because it's such a specialist thing. I knew that my boys weren't where they should be. They weren't meeting the markers. We were working so hard at home because there is this pressure that your children are going to be amazing because you're a teacher. And I think certainly with my eldest child, he always performed above and beyond, but he's not dyslexic. And then when it came to the younger 2, it was always like, oh, it's fine, she'll sort them at home, she'll sort them at home. And they were absolutely worn out by the time they got home because it takes them so much longer to process information that's being given to them.
I would say that I just do stuff differently. Like, for example, instead of doing stuff on paper, I do work on a laptop.
At school, I find it difficult because like all the words and letters, they get jumbled around and it makes reading and spelling really hard. I've got to type my exams in like the exam week we've just done, which at first I didn't want because my typing speed's not really fast. But then I realised it makes it like really easy to edit everything, and that helps because like I can go over my spellings and edit them really easily.
When Finn was very young, so when Finn was in reception year 1, because obviously it was colleagues I was chatting to, they would say, have you noticed that he just freezes in the middle of the classroom? Because he was in a particularly bad year group where there were lots of children in the reception in year 1. I think there were 2 classes of 28. So I'd walk past the classroom and there he was, just completely frozen, probably not aware that he was frozen, because it was an overwhelming situation with things going on around him. And then if you think he's then learning, everything is so fast those first couple of years, they take on so much so quickly, and if he's mentally not present during that time, he's going to miss out. I think I'm very lucky that they both have such an amazing work ethic, and they know they are clever. They know they are clever, and they know that they've just got this thing, dyslexia, which is standing in the way of them showing other people that they're clever. And I think that self-belief has been the making of them. For somebody to turn around and acknowledge it's not you, you're actually very clever. It's just something in the way that your brain works.
We knew our children were both dyslexic from the age of 3.5, 4. So when my husband was diagnosed with dyslexia when he was only that age as well, it's very, very important for us to know that we were supported from such a young age. So they didn't get into the system until they were 7. So I think it's just important to make the families and parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, teachers, friends, those people around those small children who notice and can pick up on the little things that they could say, this is dyslexia, push forward and get the support you need, is so vitally important. It's the one-on-one with the dyslexia professional and the LSA assistants who have grown with the children from reception through their schooling life and have learnt how to manage and use those coping mechanisms with each of my children. We're incredibly lucky, and we have children at our school who are supported by LSAs, teachers and dyslexia professionals who are able to assist them. So our children want to go to school every single day. So I've been very fortunate not to have received the negative side of, Mummy and Daddy, we don't want to go to school today, because it's the importance of those people in the schools that are helping the children. It's definitely changed our approach to the way we teach our children at home. We're not kitchen table based learning, we're outside activity based learning, enjoying with the children what they enjoy and when they don't actually know that they're learning. So it's using different mechanisms and methods to get our point across and to ensure that they are learning, but in a fun way. I think if we can recognise dyslexia from a younger age, both of my children, a boy and a girl, age 11 and 9, were only diagnosed when they were 7, when we knew in our hearts that they needed to be diagnosed from age 4. And they've missed out on that vital support from 4 to 7. I think things could be very different now had they had that earlier intervention.
Yeah, at school, I mean, I did fairly well. I think it was my confident personality that got me through, which I then probably didn't notice so much the negativity around my schooling and perhaps the way I was treated. But also there was a lot of confusion maybe whether I did or didn't have dyslexia. So it wasn't picked up, and therefore I was missed with getting a diagnosis when I was younger. Probably when it came to things like spelling tests, times tables, I would have to go away each week and write them down multiple times to try and remember them. I would come out of the test with, 10 out of 10, but then unfortunately the following week I would have forgotten them, and that's probably now knowing due to my short-term memory, which is linked to the dyslexia. I think for education, it's about getting the awareness back into the schools. Again, thinking about visual aids. Some students, we can't all just sit in a classroom and sit still for, 30 minutes to an hour. Encourage the students to maybe move, teach a lesson slightly differently maybe, have more slight changes to just sitting and reading and writing, do it in a different way, maybe a bit more visual.
So I've been really lucky to be able to work with people who have got really excellent knowledge around dyslexia and neurodivergent conditions. I've been lucky to be able to work with people who adapt their teaching, who are quality first teachers, who will research, who've got knowledge. I think teachers in school who know what dyslexia is and what it looks like, how to identify it is really important. But the cost of that means teachers need training. They need time to develop, need time to observe and watch. That can be quite costly for an organisation. The time aspect to this and just observing excellent practice, working with practitioners who know what to do, who can share good practice, that again can be quite challenging in schools because of the time, the money and the skill set. Early intervention is absolutely key for all children with needs, whatever those needs might be. Picking children up when they're in pre-prep, when they're in preschool is really important. Looking at reading programs that support the child to make sure that they can keep up or at least progress at the best progression phase that they can and rate that they can. And at each point, I think it's really important that then we can put in early intervention. So it might be that a child requires extra time at the age of 6 or 7. And at that point, when that child gets and receives the intervention that they want and need, it means that they can then feel happy, they can learn. It's a positive self-image, it reduces anxiety. So early intervention, definitely in schools, is really important. in my 20-year career doing this, I think the types of mental health concerns I see are really high, anxious children that are really struggling to access education. It looks like they can't do the work for whatever reason that may be, and generally it's because it's not been picked up early enough. So as they go through from the age of 4 all the way up, you can see that their ability to kind of fit in, socialise, be who they are can be quite challenging if they've not been given the right support, and naturally then that can cause a mental health issue at whatever age that may be, which means then that they can't support themselves as they'd like to and progress as they need to. So they can't be the best that they can be because they're trying to battle with the mental health issues alongside their SEND or unidentified SEND. I think academically it can be challenging for a student, so through their educational journey, if they're not picked up early enough, then they may struggle to access reading or the curriculum in general, which means that naturally they would need more support as they go through their educational journey. They may need exam access arrangements, for example, that they've not been given and therefore can't show us exactly their potential and their progress. So that can be quite challenging for teachers, and not understanding why they're not meeting the required progress at the stage or their age that they're at. I think the other thing for me is that we drive quality first teaching, but to be able to identify the needs and actually meet those needs in the classroom for all teachers all of the time is really challenging. And as a teacher myself, you try your absolute best to try and meet the needs of those children sat in front of you so they can be the best they can be.
Schools are basically designed for the average child, and that's how we've taught for hundreds of years in groups. And if you fit within that average, then you're fine. And if you fall sort of to the edges of that, that's when you start to sense a feeling of difference, that perhaps you can't access the curriculum in some way. And children feel that difference, they feel it early on. And I think it's difficult because if you're not able to show your strengths, everybody's got strengths, everybody's got talents, but if you don't have the opportunity to show them, very often what happens is people start to shout inwards, they internalize that and they feel that they don't belong or there's something wrong with them. And although they try to mask that and to compensate, it's life informing, it's life changing, and you take that with you as you move through life, really. I think if we focus on the things that people can't do, you begin to believe that yourself, that you believe that you're not good enough or you have no self-worth. And we need to be able to focus on people's strengths and the things that they actually can do, because dyslexia is just about processing information in a different way. But if we're trying to sort of assess people on reading, writing and spelling, there is an expectation that as you move through the school, you will be able to read and write and spell. And obviously, if you can't do that as well as everybody else, that's when people start to become anxious and worried and internalize that thought themselves. Every year that passes, if we don't support them, is another year for them to struggle at school. So the way that we need to do that is we need to upskill, we need to educate, and we need to empower people to be the best that they can possibly be. So we need to train people so that they have a greater understanding. People that speak about their experiences in school when they've had really supportive teachers, it makes a huge difference because they have that empathy and that understanding. And we're all good at something. We can all showcase our skills in some way, but we just need that opportunity to be able to show that we can do it. We need to be able to show people what talents children have. Everybody has talents and we need to be able to showcase that. And I think it's our responsibility as a society to allow individuals to show off what they can do rather than what they can't. And with that, it's a future of being able to showcase what we're good at and the skills and the opportunities for people rather than focusing constantly on what the deficits and the things that they can't do. We need to embrace dyslexia. We need to be able to change the environment that we teach in so it becomes more of an accessible environment for people, so there's greater understanding so that people can actually understand their dyslexia more as they move forward.